Hey everybody, XEI here for another trailer watch because something dropped today and it's all over the place. So I was debating, do I dodge it, do I not? And you know what, I'm not dodging this. You already saw by the title, it's for Death Stranding by Kojima. The first time I saw anything for this, it was literally the only E3 stack of videos I've ever watched was from 2016. It was at the beginning of this channel and I was debating of like maybe doing reaction videos to like E3 stuff. But I realized by watching E3 videos, I might accidentally spoil myself. So E3 2016 was the last stack of videos I've ever watched based on like any kind of launch thing. Didn't watch 2017 or 18. I have no idea what they launched in those things unless I'm doing these kinds of episodes and I come across them. Now, I did look for the Death Stranding release date video, I think is what it's called. I'll validate that when I get to the video that dropped today. And it was a pretty long one, so I thought, okay, this is going to be maybe a decently long video. But then the E3 2018 trailer, that came up in my search list. So I was like, that one was long, and I was like, I haven't seen this. So you know what? We're throwing that one down on. So I'm going to watch the one from 2016. I remember it being creepy as hell. I remember it being really strange. It was just a video where I watched it. I'm like, what's the game? I remember something with a kid's head or mouth or something. It was weird. Whatever I saw, it was weird. I have a certain image in my head that stuck with me, and I've never looked into it since. But since then, I did play Metal Gear Solid on the channel. A lot of big fans of Kojima out there. I know some history now based on some stuff in the comments and whatnot. And I do know it's... you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, this context is important because for people who don't know who Kojima is, like I knew who Kojima was from like the late 90s. I knew Metal Gear Solid. I just never got to clear it. But I had a friend who was a big fan of the Metal Gear Solid games. Now, with Kojima, like in the late 80s, I believe it was something like 86 or 87, he releases a game called Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2. He was something like 23 at the time. I did remember looking up his age at one point because I'm like, I think he's not really old, right? He's in the mid 50s anyways. So I'm like, he's still got a decent career ahead of him as like if he's going to start doing these independent kind of games. So quick history though. I'm going to roll that back. Quick history. He's like almost like a savant game designer at early 20s in any case. Gets hired by Konami, does Metal Gear 2. At the time, there were no real stealth games. And later on, this stealth genre kind of became a thing. That's where it comes from. It comes from this guy. So I did hear, there was one tweet I read, which was like, this game is going to be akin to what Metal Gear was in the late 80s, where they didn't even have a genre figured out for it. And so they called it an action game, which is, I think, what they're dubbing this thing, an action game, an open world action game or something like that, where I haven't really dug into this. I've just gotten, again, just glances at some comments, and I'm like, I'm just going to do a video, and I'm going to try to get this like as raw as possible. But anyway, so the point there being that this game, I guess, is going to be just something new. It's going to be something that it's not supposed to make sense, because I think Kojima is once again putting something out there that is going to maybe explore what's possible with game design. That's also a key thing about Kojima, is like he really pushes the envelope with game design. So fast forward to 2015, he has some falling out with Konami. I know that there's like a huge kerfuffle about the Konami thing. I'm not entirely sure what all the noise and dirt is on this, but I know that it's what's his name? Jimquisition. I had just recently kind of come across some Jimquisition videos, and I know that he really hates Konami. The company that Kojima has, that's basically kind of married to Konami, I guess legally speaking, whatever, he shuts that down. And then the following year, that was in 2015, 2016, he releases, I guess, the E3, is this when he like releases? So a year later, he's like, oh, by the way, just kidding. I got my own company now. It's independent. And he launched this idea. Okay, so let's play this 3-minute reveal trailer at E3 2016. Let me just remember what I remember: a sewage drain. Okay, William Blake is actually one of my favorite. Okay, to see a world in a grain of sand. I gotta pause this. I gotta read this because to see a world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a wild flower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. I enjoyed William Blake as a writer and an artist. It was great stuff. Really dark crab. Have you ever seen that picture of like that demon devouring a human? That's what. That's. I like that. So what they're doing with the font there. All right, so crabs. I don't remember the crabs though. There's something creepy. There's like this Japanese lore with a crab. I was gonna write something. That's crazy. What is this? I don't remember this. But yeah, it's this. I'll talk about it after the trailer. I don't remember music either. Oh, what the fuck? I don't remember this. This might be new to me. Did I watch 2015? Was it that? I've never seen this. Lost and never found. Waiting for my word. What? Okay. This is oh. What? I mean, immediately evocative from a visual perspective, because you just have to say what. Okay, this actually is confusing me more, but it's interesting. I don't understand, but I think that's the point. I want to find the video I saw though. So it is Norman Reedus? It's not, I mean, it's definitely him. There's nothing, it's very clearly Daryl. So, but I guess that's a straight up partnership. That's not what I saw though. How am I gonna find? I don't want to really spoil anything, but I mean at this point, I'm not gonna stop there. I gotta find the one video. You guys know the one I'm talking about. It's probably the scene's probably gonna come up in one of the longer videos. Was it a different game? I'm fairly certain it wasn't. I'm going to find this. Give me a sec. Oh, this is the first time I saw something like this on YouTube, by the way. This video may be inappropriate for some users. I understand and proceed. This was a 2016 TGA 4K trailer. This one is, it's 5 minutes though, man. 2016. So the crap, I'm going to fast forward through some of this. That's the one. This is the one. Okay, see that that was, oh, that's weird. So did this one come first? Because that would have been crazy. Because I remember the doll thing and I thought, oh, it's just a doll. And I'm like, oh, interesting use of like, you know, putting like a doll in place there so it screws with you, you know? This is the one. I don't remember it being 5 minutes. And then, anyways, so then they play this, and then they would play that other one with Reedus on the beach, and it's an actual infant with an umbilical cord or something. That was weird. That was. Do things change? Oh yes. Oh. Oh yeah. Oh damn. Wait, is that like a living tank? What is that? Or was it just carrying organs? What? Okay, so that's where it messes you up, right? Because yeah, this is creepy. When I A lot of water stuff. That's got some important symbolism behind it, which I'm assuming is gonna matter to this. So far, 2 trailers. Yeah, and then there was the baby in that thing with what the fuck. Like, it's just a hard what WF. So strange. Because it tells you nothing about the game. It tells you it's kind of like a strange apocalyptic world. It tells you some interesting, crazy stuff with some kid thing. And that's some kid. I don't know. Are they batteries like in the Matrix? Can you imagine what people would have been thinking in 2016 though? And then it's like 2019, so it's 3 years have passed. People going, what is this guy doing? But he's got, like, that's why I had to open the video the way I did. He's got such a massive, he's got credibility, you know, behind his name. And so people are just patiently you know, just anticipate it's going to be good. Now, these go okay, but those could be masks, right? Oh, that was messed up because he had the cord thing. Didn't Norman have like a cord thing? Do those babies grow up and like they become extensions? Oh god, but maybe they are like undead? What? Oh. Oh. This is so creepy, man. Oh my god. Oh geez, the stomach. We saw that with... Right? Like, it's messed up, man. This guy looks familiar too, and I can't place it. That's creepy too. Okay, that was it. I don't know which came first, but I like that if this one was the first one, because this would have just messed with people. Like, it just wouldn't mess with people. And then if it went to the other one, then it gives you like another kind of side of things. So maybe... I know, I'm thinking of Metal Gear now with the whole like duality thing. So maybe the 2 dudes... Maybe it's like this guy and Norman, or like 2. I don't know. Maybe that's the dynamic. Okay. Anyways, we got an E3 2018. This is a long one. This isn't so. This is I guess a legitimate trailer, and then we have the one that's the release date, which everyone's talking about today. So I wonder, are people talking about it today because they said it's coming in November? I do already know because of Twitter. Thank you. But Peggy 16. Is that why it's like huge today? Because everyone's like, oh my god, it's this year, it's coming this year. Everyone's freaking out. Okay. I remember seeing the buff, but I saw something like that, and I was. Where did I see that clip then? I thought it was in the last video.
The man who delivers. Tears.
Completely different scenes in these trailers. Like, well,
So,
I mean,
You have dooms, like me.
so he's the main.
What's your level?
I've got the extinction factor, but I think you got me beat.
You can see them, right?
No, but I can sense them.
Hold on, so this stuff
Wanna
is
come work for me?
It's dropping some important stuff for real.
Must
Man.
be tough out here on your own.
I can't help you with that. I make deliveries.
Deliveries.
That's all.
Deliveries. The baby deliveries. Packages. That's an interesting play on words there. That actually really is. If he's delivering those baby canisters, that's an interesting set of ideas. Kind of a Mars-esque landscape there. water all the time. So, I mean, water's super important. Like symbolism, right? Birth, right? Well, and death, and chaos, destruction, because it erodes at shorelines, you know? Strand is like another name for shoreline. Water again in the shower. This is a river. Okay, there's a lot of repetition. I'm just assuming Kojima knows, like he's known for this kind of like. That's what I'm taking from it. And people who recommend the rain recommend his games is probably because of that. He really layers his work with a lot of ideas that are there's like layered ideas happening. Also Strand, I'm seeing them in the background there. Strands of string, right? There's also this idea of like in the astral plane when you like have an out-of-body experience, there's like the strand you leave behind you, like the silver cord sometimes it's called, or you see it in Doctor Strange, she's like gaming. Water again. Like the D&D cosmology of the astral plane, you always have the thread, you know. It's all those ideas. So there's. I wonder if oh, it's disgusting. No, I can't do it. Don't do it. Oh, can't do it. So is it something? And then it was the one dude with the undead dude, the dead dudes, the skull guys. There's a skull in his hand, and there's a baby motif. So it's definitely life strands, is how I'm seeing it. But so we've seen that inky stuff. What is this? Like... So it's an 8? Could... Oh, it definitely sound like an ammo. What is happening? Evolutionary strand? I'm thinking of all the words now that could be. Stranded? Still doing it. I can do this all day. I did catch a tweet that said like there's like a crazy load of either voice actors or actors that are they've used them as the people. Like it sounds like they've invested. They're not messing around. They've invested. Give me your hand in
Headed
death.
into town. Watch yourself. Those things never stay gone for long. The time fall fast forwards whatever it touches. But it can't
What
wash
does?
everything away.
Rain.
The past just won't let go. I'll see you around. Sam Porter Bridges.
Is there some sort of time anomaly thing? It's a world that's been screwed over by
My
that
status
time
is
anomaly
fucked.
thing?
There's tons of them.
Can you sit out the rain?
So like
No.
maybe you exist in different layers
Closing
of
in on my
time?
position. I have to move before they realize I'm in here.
Are the babies like you? Like what the?
It'll trigger a void out. You'll come back, sure.
What do you say, a
but
portal?
The surrounding area will still be a crater.
I feel like I'm watching a movie and reacting. This is crazy. This is a game trailer? Well,
got
it's
an
not. It is a
idea.
game trailer. Oh. Oh. So... Time nonsense? Time shenanigans? What the fuck? Oh, that's gameplay footage right there. It has to be. It's a little stiffer. A little stealthy. So we're going back a little bit to the stealth routes, maybe. That's messed up, man. I don't know what the hell. They're all on these strands too, though. It is really messed up. It's a messed up concept. It's gonna be out there. Oh, they're the inks. Oh, they're the inks. Oh, that. Yes, this is a lot of creepy ideas happening.
By it a day keeps the time fall away.
Time again. Which. Oh. Oh, what did you do there? What? Oh. Oh. Oh, I don't.
A crypto buy it a day keeps the time fall away.
A crypto bite. Oh.
You're too late. You still don't know who I am, do you?
Who are you?
Jesus. What's she in the photo? Jesus, look at that facial animation. Good Lord, man. Give me your hand and spirit. Yeah. All right. Okay, then. Are you telling me there's going to be another almost 9-minute video that's all going to be different stuff again? Because that was a lot of information to take in. Okay, we've seen this. Should I fast forward through some? Nope, look, I'm already seeing a thumbnail. That's the other dude's perspective. What the hell?
Don't worry. It's okay. I'll always be with you. See the sunset.
It's going to be so creepy, man. It's got a little bit of a... Well, I'm saying. The sound design is crazy. It was the lady in the picture.
Together, you can help us reconnect. You can make America whole.
Crows, murder of crows.
Nah, America's finished.
Or unkindness of...
Sam, if we don't all come together again, humanity will not
Or...
survive.
Oh, now you're dead.
We don't need a country. Not anymore.
Oh,
We do. Alone, we have no future.
Bridget, you're the president of jack shit.
Oh, the rain is... The hell? So, like, water... Well, that's the symbolism of the... I mean... Giver of life, right? And yeah. So, there's something with water that gives life and takes it away? Oh my gosh, look at the terrain. Oh my gosh, look at that snow effect. Holy smokes. What? Oh. Whoa. Okay, so it's open world. Oh my gosh. This isn't procedurally generated worlds though, right? Like...
It's all to safeguard the continued independence of Edgenut City. They want the UCA to leave him be.
Who are these assholes again?
Homo Demons.
She sort of looks
militant
familiar
separatist
too,
group.
no?
I've heard of them.
What is...
Bunch of
did you
terrorists
say?
who go around.
What?
Demons.
I'm sorry guys,
They
I
want
have
the UCA
I
to
have
leave
to.
him be.
Who are these assholes again?
Homo Demons. Militant separatist group.
I've heard of them. Bunch of terrorists who go around towns killing people and leaving craters.
Right. Nothing's off limits.
Are they
to them.
actually human or no?
Not even engineering void outs. They're extremists like the demons everywhere, plotting in the shadows.
So it is, it might be an overlay of worlds going on. That's why they can't see the other ones. It's like another, it's like the other world. Spirit world, whatever. It's a taser. Oh my gosh. It's gameplay 2 right now. What the hell? It's like it's a dodging game. It's not stealth. It's like, how do you get, oh, you can fight. Oh, that's an interesting, nice, what? They, they take that in consideration? What? There was a lot of different, like, animations going on there, but I mean...
Good thing it was raining. Even they know better than the
God, you almost can't tell what's gameplay and what isn't. You can. But
just sense them. That's why we came prepared. A bridge baby, huh?
This right. Oh.
Makes me feel like shit every
A
time.
What? Does they say a bridge baby?
The other side.
A bridge baby. Oh, with this.
Too.
Is that how you exist in both worlds? Is the baby you? Like, is it you? So like, it's like you're connect, like you're. I can't even my brain. So it's like you exist in the entire timeline of yourself. Oh my god, my brain. I mean, I love time stuff. Like, I love figuring it because eventually you gotta create rules when you're doing time narratives and stuff. You have. That's messed up. Oh, that's just gonna creep me the hell out. Jesus, please. What? So how do you... So are the vehicles alive or what the fuck? What is happening? They could. I mean, they could go with the whole things get... That's messed up. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's nasty. There's so much footage for this thing that no one understands. It's a bit of a Battlestar Galactica feeling. Number 6 or whatever. This thing with the shoreline is important to a lot of afterlife stuff. I've used it myself. It's what? Guillermo del Toro? What are you talking? Whoa! These are all the names of the people. Oh, Troy Baker. I don't know who these people are. I'm not as well. What? There's a Cthulhuoid. I like calling them Cthulhuoids. Okay. There's like Cthulhu creatures. Disgusting. But okay. Oh, that was just
Sam,
a toy.
we want you to go west and finish what Emily started.
Rebuilding America isn't gonna get rid of the BTs. As long as they're still around, there's
BT.
no escaping it.
But at least we'll have hope.
Was that Norman? Oh my god, I have to, guys. Sorry. Is it him? So is he older or?
But at least we'll have hope.
He's not older. He's just weird. What? Desaturated? Like the ink desaturates you the longer you... There could be a lot of things happening here.
I've come to understand the truth of the Death Stranding. Oh, it's so hard to form connections.
Oh, that really took you back to action movies right there. Predator and stuff.
Fortunately, I've got a good connection to the other side.
What? So this guy is a... He's figured out how to live on the one side? Oh, weird. What the... And has he figured out how to do the reverse? Because he had the dad hooked up to him, whereas Norman had the baby. So maybe there's like... I wonder.
Covering the world in cable didn't bring an end to Warren's suffering. Don't act surprised when it all comes apart if you try to do it again.
Humans aren't made for living alone.
So it's definitely a time thing. Doing it again, is that like you could probably do the whole...
And if we as a people can't do that, if we can't reconnect, that's what we need right now. Not to stand apart, but to come together.
Family trees,
I'll show
family
you the
strands.
real thing soon.
How many more can I go? Is the family bond important?
The whole wide world will be yours to explore. You'll be able to go wherever you want. Even the moon.
Was that actually a Mars landscape that was with the boy back there? Even the moon? What are you talking about? Was he talking to himself? That's the thing, man. It's messing me up. So there's definitely time stuff at play. I mean, absolutely. But it's more like, how do we don't really know how this world... Well, they mentioned demons. So if they're literally talking about something with some demonic force comes into play, the rain is messed up. So, yeah, I think that might be part of the mystery, is finding out how that world's foundation plays into it. Or maybe it's, I don't know, I haven't played all of the Metal Gear Solid games, but as far as I've known from the comments, is that Kojima, he really layers ideas together and he stretches them out. I've given my thoughts as best as I could based on the inputs I got. This is the kind of stuff where I would have to watch this again to see if I could strand together some of these ideas. I mean, the stuff that I got on Twitter today was that it was people like still not really sure about what this thing could be, right? But like, I think on the YouTube search, there are videos out there with gameplay, so I'm sure there's more that will provide context as to what the game will actually be about from a gameplay perspective. I think enough was sort of given from just what this game could be, only in regards to it's messed up. I mean, you kind of know that there's a few layers happening with this game. The mechanics seem to be... It looks like you can go anywhere. They do have a climbing mechanic in the form of that ladder, which was interesting. They have a rappelling mechanic, the thing with the rope to then go scale down. It looks pretty open, but it looked pretty barren too. So it feels like something is going to have to happen between that. He did say something about delivery. So I suspect the basic kind of driver of this game is you get something, you have to take places, unless, which I'm assuming might be those bait. I don't know, making a lot of, I don't know anything. So it'd be cool if there was like a double meaning there, where he delivers babies across this wasteland or to different, I don't know, moments in time, so that they can solve this thing. He's got an adversary, so the adversary component is there in the narrative. Maybe there's something connected with both of them. Right now, I'm assuming those babies are actually them. This is what I don't know how. Don't think too deep. I don't know, but I would assume that if the time thing is at play, and he basically hooked into the baby's life strand, I guess. And then the way I think of it is that they can then exist in the entire continuity of time, because then we start seeing those shadow forms like happening, like that war was happening. It was in figments, and I'm wondering if those figments are because they're seeing a version of time play out within the range of their time strand. Oh my god, this is going to be, if this really messes with time. Time, I was kind of getting into it and then I got derailed, but time has a lot of leeway to mess with when it comes to storytelling. It also has it's a huge opportunity for to really screw up. To be honest, like time stuff normally never. There's always something that fails when you start messing with time storylines. It's just baked into the the trope itself. But if this can pull it off, I mean that's if I'm right about the whole baby thing and like that's all just one life force, and so you sort of I don't know, you create a sort of Mobius continuum, like time space kind of loop thing that then becomes your present, and that's what you exist through. I don't know what the whole pulling under. I felt like that was probably important. That was probably important, especially because then we have the adversary guy, who is in more. It was more in a darker area, and he had the dead dudes hooked up to him. So when he says I figured something out, I wonder if that has to do with like he's figured out how to hook into death, so that he can. I don't. Maybe if you hook into death, you live. There's a way for you to live forever, but like you have to sacrifice something. It could be a bit of Dante's Inferno, like slipped into there because of the whole water thing. I don't know. The water stuff seemed important. Seemed super important. The rain seemed to do things, messed up those crows because of the way that. What did he say? What did he say when the rain fell? I don't know. I got a sense that it was maybe something temporal, or there was a line just before it, and so what she said something. Doesn't matter. I can rewatch these on my own time and figure that out. William Blake. What can I bring up from William Blake? I have like a book with a bunch of his stuff. William Blake was an interesting character. I remember in the things I studied, because it's weird because I took fine art, and I studied him in fine art because of his work on Dante's Inferno was the big one that I kind of stood out to me. He did some watercolors. I forget what the watercolors were for. I remember things coming up in art history about how he had invented kind of his own mythology, his own sort of not pseudo-religion. He was actually anti-religion to a big degree back in the old days. Like he was like a shit disturber for sure. I took philosophy, was another one of the majors, and I didn't quite finish philosophy, but learned stuff about his philosophy. He was a huge believer of the self. He was sort of against the authoritarian aspect of religion. I remember something about him creating stuff. I don't know if that was in his poetry or if that was in his philosophy, or I think he might have. I don't think he was going crazy, but he was definitely, and when he was getting older, he was definitely a little. I mean, oh my God, I don't know if I recall this lore well or not. I don't know if he was like the guy. There was one dude that in my studies where he was sort of a recluse, like no one really visited him and stuff like that. But when he died, they went to get his body. Like his walls had murals painted on them, and they became famous later on. Oh my God, was that William Blake? Who was that artist? Anyways, it was like dark work as well. He what else did he do? Oh, the engravings. The engravings were Dante Inferno for sure, which is what I find interesting because they opened. Remember that E3 trailer? They opened with the William Blake thing. That was probably from one of his poems. I took English, was the other major. And I learned his literature, his poetry. I read some of his poetry in English lit. So, strangely enough, this name became important to me because during like that time in university, like his name kept coming up. There was also something he always said, like the most important aspect of humanity is creativity, your imagination. He was huge about that. So yeah, a lot of the stuff he was saying really sort of resonated with me. He was really dark. His art was really dark, though. I'll give it. But then again, I really enjoyed dark stuff. He did stuff with the Revelations. The Book of Revelations, I think, also stood out to me. Anyways, so I thought it was intriguing that they opened that E3 trailer with a quote from William Blake, considering how much the scope of what William Blake represents in that time, and the idea of like the rejection of religion and the kind of the separation of, he had one treatment, what was it called, the marriage of heaven and hell or something. So if you apply it to this game, it's like, maybe is that what's going on? Did Kojima like just take a bunch of the ideas going on in William Blake's head 200 years ago, and he's like, oh, what if this was a world? Like, we did get the military thing. There was a whole there was a big authoritarian thing aspect of it with the war and stuff. Where I think something William Blake also kind of talked to in his philosophies is that there's no real difference between Oh, I feel like I might be getting this stuff wrong, like religion and government or something too. And that's why like he later on goes to the whole like the self being important. Something about oh, what was the thing about looking inside? There was something about forgiveness and something else. Self-sacrifice, and forgiveness being the sort of pathway to someone reaching, you know, the perfect state sort of thing, something like that. So I wonder if Norman represents that, kind of coming to terms with that. I don't know. Oh, there's just so many ideas. Anyways, I find weird little patterns like, oh, was there anything with what? Well, I mean, he did Dante's Inferno, so, but I mean, I don't remember a lot of his myths. A lot of them were just weird to understand too. It was old language, it was old, you know, it was older English, and it was during that era. It was messed up. He sounded like a messed up dude. That's all I remember. Okay, we're no longer talking about Death Stranding, so I'm gonna leave it at that. This video is over. I'm intrigued by the game, as you can tell by the end rant right there. If there's a bunch of symbolism stuff going on, I would be in for that as well. So it looks like something that I probably won't play it right away. November is just around the corner, but it's going to be a 2020 game maybe. I feel like 2020 is loading up pretty fast, but I would like to play this game. I would like to play this game. That's all I'll say. I'll talk to you in the next video. Don't forget to explore, engage, and inspire, everybody. Peace.